Marie Rose's posture makes her look vulnerable and inviting an enemy to attack.
Look at that! Look at that! There's nothing cuter! There's nothing cuter! Cutest fighting game character.
A minimal amount of
Oh, this shit's so good. This
Marie
shit is
Rose's
delicious.
makes her look
Yeah,
vulnerable and
yeah.
harmless, inviting an enemy
And then
to
you,
attack
and then they
giving
press a
Marie
button,
the
you just
opportunity
fucking
to
counter hold
dodge or
them.
juke an opponent with
Oh,
a small frame.
so
It's a
good.
deliberate
If you enjoy this video, please click like and subscribe for more. Go on. Do it. It's right down there. Come on. Come on. Alright. Hi, YouTube. Hello. Hello, hello there. Before we get into Tekken 7, promised Chicken Nuggy that we would watch A.B.I.torial. Did these fighting game characters ruin fighting games? Did these characters ruin fighting games? And I'm super excited to check it out because the thumbnail already has Lucky Chloe in it, so I can't wait to see. Like what all characters people just absolutely can't stand. I know Lucky Chloe's had a lot of haters. She's a lot of haters. As a Lucky Chloe man, we dance on our haters. We dance on our haters. We count to 4, and it's GG's. So let's watch this video.
Eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I've been running something of a survey in the community posts. I asked for discussion about 4 particular characters. Ingrid from various Capcom works, Lucky Chloe from Tekken 7, and Marie Rose and Honoka.
Oh, Marie Rose!
No poll,
I mean,
no
to be
question,
fair, I was a Marie
just
Rose main too.
Most of you might
In
have picked up that
DOA.
there are some subtle similarities between these characters. But the one quality they all share is that they are all hated by their respective fan bases. And I feel like I must stress that they are hated, not disregarded.
Yeah, the community
not
absolutely fucking
disinterested,
despises Marie Rose.
hated.
Listen, I just love my
the
cute
kind of
little
hate
blonde
that goes into
characters.
groan or a sigh if you so much as mention these characters. The kind of hate that one has to commit to their memory. To put it plainly, these characters live rent-free in the heads of many. So today I'd like to discuss these characters
My
based
cute
on
little
the feedback
blonde
that's been
twin
posted
tail
and see
characters.
if
I
can
can't
make
I
sense
can't
of the
resist.
conversation around them.
Ingrid though is an absolute monster.
Probably the oddest character on this lineup is Ingrid from Capcom. Before I talk about Ingrid, it's worth going over her history, if only to highlight how confusing her origins are.
We love cute
Ingrid
character
was
on this
originally
channel. Yes,
slated
yes,
to be
yes.
one
We are
of 3
waifu
original
mains on
fighters
this
in a
channel.
game called Capcom Fighting All-Stars. In that game, she and 2 other originals, Dee Dee and Rook, are code holders. Fighters with supernatural powers who work for a mystery organization, hired by Mike Hagar to disarm a bomb in Metro City. She is associated with the code words Eternal Goddess and Isis. Fighting All-Stars was then cancelled, and we never got to see how that plot would unfold, but the concept of an all-Capcom crossover would later be regurgitated into Capcom Fighting Evolution.
No, I mean even the side community for DOA has some weird hatred for her. Oh god.
Oddly, this is where Capcom decided
To
for
be
Ingrid
fair, the
to make
DOA
her debut,
community is just
complete
weird in
with the only
general.
brand new 2D sprite in Fighting Evolution. Ingrid is some kind of sun goddess who uses her powers to banish
DOA
Pyron.
community is a bunch of strangies.
She would later appear as a bonus character in Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max.
Let's
a
go,
PSP
Alpha 3
port of
Max!
The original game
Sick
on
game.
PS1. In that game, Ingrid is a time-traveling soul magician who claims to be the progenitor of Psycho Power. In her ending, she defeats M. Bison, Deadass steals the Psycho Drive, and disappears into space with it. This would
Let's
mark
go.
Ingrid's last playable appearance in a fighting game, forever banished into
Bison
the
has
Capcom
nothing
den
on
of
short
cameos
waifu
and
characters.
crossovers.
Oh yeah,
Her
there
last
was
playable appearance
the
would be
costume
in
for
Project
Karin
Cross
too.
Zone 2, where she resumes her role as a pan-dimensional crossover god. All this to say that there is zero consistency regarding who or what Ingrid even is.
Oh hey,
Even her latest
MP89,
bio
how's it
in
going?
the
How's it
Capcom
going?
Character
Good to
database
see you
doesn't
again.
tell us anything about her. Which is why it's odd that Ingrid is remembered largely as a character detested by Street Fighter fans. The very mention of her name would cause one to froth at the mouth, swearing to the high heavens that she's the worst character in the franchise. How could someone commit this much hatred towards a character that nobody knows anything about. The feedback on Ingrid was the most eye-opening of all.
Listen,
the
a lot of these like
commenters who had
groups
either
that
never heard
hate
of Ingrid
characters,
or swore their undying hatred for her.
why?
The majority of comments acknowledged that
Yeah,
people
majority of the
hated Ingrid,
reason why
but
they
no
hate
one
these
actually
characters is
remembers
because
why.
they just see
She
people just
debuted
see
in a
other people
throwaway
hate this
game in
character.
2004
Like they
and
can't
only
even
made an
name
appearance in a
what
bonus
moves are
character
so
in the
strong
handheld port of
or
Alpha
what
3
their
in
like fighting strategy
2006.
is.
And that's
They just
it.
hate that.
If you claim
They
that
just
you
hate them
hate
because
Ingrid's
of the
in-game
reasons why other
personality
people
and
hate them.
animations, then you are lying because nobody played these games. I played this game. It's an okay port. All joking aside, these games are so obscure that only a small subset of people would have experienced Ingrid firsthand. Those few that did likely formed an even smaller vocal minority and proclaimed that they hated her. And since no one could talk about this character, those few complaints are the only opinions about Ingrid to outlast the game. So if the comments are to be believed, anyone who does hate Ingrid
Ooh, that
is
jump
only
age is kinda
hearing
strong.
about her through the forgotten echoes of a shitty game from 2004. The other common
Bring back
complaint
Ingrid.
about
Watch
is
them
how
bring back
she
Ingrid for
ruins
Street
the
Fighter
canon of
6.
Street Fighter
How
by
insane would
making
that
a
be?
jobber
I would
out of
love
M.
that
Bison
shit.
in her very first series appearance. To which I have to ask, what canon? Street Fighter Alpha 3 doesn't exactly have rock-solid canon to its in-game endings, where everyone makes a jobber out of M. Bison. Karin blows up his base with a satellite laser.
She doesn't fit
Zangief
the
destroys
style
Psycho
of Street
Drive by
Fighter 6.
pile-driving E Honda
To be
into it.
fair,
And each
we don't know
time,
what the
Bison
style
gets
of
his
Street
ass
Fighter
kicked
6
every
is.
which way by a Japanese
They
schoolgirl,
could have a
some random
redesign.
British punk, and Dan. I really
I mean,
wouldn't try
a lot
to
of the
defend
characters
canon
are getting
of
like
Ingrid in Alpha 3 Max
yeah,
because
the
she's a
like
bonus
character costumes and
in a
arts
port of a port
is
of a
getting
port.
like
If you acknowledge
redesigned.
Ingrid as part of Alpha 3's canon, then you also have to acknowledge time-traveling Yun.
Yes, best girl. Let's go.
Predictably, Tekken 7's Lucky Chloe was met with the most negative feedback.
The character
hysteria
no
from
one
Lucky
fucking
Chloe's
played,
reveal
but
got
apparently
so
everyone
heated that
hated
Tekken
to see.
producer Katsuhiro Harada engaged in a bit of troll warfare on his Twitter from angry fans who demanded Chloe to be removed from the game. To be perfectly fair, I can sort of see where fans
Sorry,
became
audio dropped a
upset
little
with her
bit.
upon her initial reveal. Tekken 7 was circulated for arcade location tests as early as 2014.
Listen, I was playing
with a limited
Lucky
roster,
Chloe back
and a
when
new
the only way you
character
could play
each
this
proper
game
update.
was
The 2015 version
was
of
on
Tekken 7
arcade
saw the
at
first reveal
like
of
Dave
Lucky
and
Chloe,
Buster's.
followed by the aforementioned shit show. It's important to note that Eddie Gordo was not yet in the game.
Like I can
when
understand,
revealed
I can
until the
understand why
full
Eddie
update
Gordo
of
hates
Tekken
Lucky
7
Chloe.
Beta
Eddie
Retribution
mains hate
for
Lucky Chloe
consoles.
because they did Eddie
So
so
between the
fucking
years
dirty.
2015 and 2017, people believed that Eddie was being replaced by Chloe. And it wouldn't even be the first time Eddie was replaced by a female counterpart, although I have no memory of anyone
They did
actually
Eddie so
complaining about
dirty
this
in this game.
Thankfully,
Eddie
with
mains
the
are the
reveal
only
of
ones who can hate
Retribution,
Lucky
Eddie
Chloe.
is properly back, and no one has to worry about Chloe stepping on his toes. Because now she's kicking him in the shit. If people weren't already sick of Chloe, Eddie fans were now the most vocal about it. Since no one was ever going to bat for Chloe,
Yeah,
everyone just
no one
agreed that
plays
she
Lucky
ruined
Chloe.
a long-time
Lucky Chloe.
fan
There's
favorite
nothing to
character.
worry about.
And to be perfectly honest, that's
What kind of
fair.
degenerate heathen would play
But
Lucky
consider
Chloe?
the following. I wouldn't blame you if you were under the impression that Tekken is a serious game, because it's your job of pretending to be one. Yes, the story is largely centered on the Mishima blood feud, but a large part of Tekken's identity has always been about embracing the absurd. The joke elements of Tekken aren't some hidden Easter egg or bonus joke mode. They're part of the game, and you can't turn
Oh,
them
the
off.
sheep stage!
To say that
Yes!
the dramatic elements of Tekken and the goofy elements of Tekken are separate from one another would be disingenuous, because part of Tekken's charm is how often the two overlap. Every character gets to take a turn in the loony bin, no matter how serious. Raven, Dragunov, Lars, Steve, the Williams, even all the Mishimas at one point or another get to feature in one or more joke endings. Heihachi, the cornerstone of the Mishima family drama, had joke endings for 3 games in a row, and features
Oh,
in
the
countless more.
Kuma!
It
the
was
Kuma
only
ending.
inevitable that Eddie would get his turn in the loony bin.
No one escapes the Looney bin.
If you still feel the need to get upset that Eddie's story takes a break in
Yeah,
this
Tekken's not a
instead
like
get
fighting
upset
game
that
for
the writers felt
for
Eddie wasn't
everyone.
important enough to the main
I personally,
storyline
it's one of my
featured in Tekken
favorites.
7. I've maintained criticisms about Tekken 7's story before, but I feel like its greatest failing is pretending that 80% of the cast is inconsequential to the world of Tekken, and imparting some false sense that Tekken is an overly serious melodramatic story. Absurdity is built into Tekken's
happy feet,
DNA,
happy feet,
and
happy
you
feet.
cannot disregard it. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that Lucky Chloe ended up being the scapegoat for all this, because it just seemed like the stars had aligned perfectly for people to hate her.
All right, here we go. The true girls,
I was
the best
honestly
characters.
the most curious about the feedback from these two because I have no.
You also tried Steve as your first main? Well, there's one problem. Like, Steve in Tekken is very, very, very complicated, very heavily skill-based character. Like, you gotta have a good sense of fundamentals of the game of Tekken. Oh no, he is a great character. He is a great character. He's a difficult character to learn, especially as your first character. I don't know. Yeah, Tekken 7 is not really a serious game at all. Tekken in general is not really a serious franchise. Yeah, it has like serious story beats, I guess, between like the blood feud between the Mishimas, but Harada is very much one of those like I don't give a fuck kind of video game producers, and will make jokes, make light of his own work. Harada's not a very serious person. Yeah, there's a literal panda character. There's Kuma, who is literally just like a genetically bred bear. There's a lot of just absolutely absurd, wild things within the Tekken storyline that many people just like overlook because of fighting game arenas. But the only reason why I can see people hate Lucky Chloe is because either they just refuse to lab against the character, to lab her things like Kali Roll Spring Kick stuff and what all her hop kick goes through. Like, that stuff can be annoying, I agree. But she's not a very strong character once you actually know like her game plan. Just no one really played her, especially in competitive. There was always like John Ding and then now Kaiser. These past few years, Kaiser's come to light. But probably Kaiser beating Arslan Ash with Lucky Chloe has made people have to lab her and like take her for real as a serious character. Honestly surprised I'm not a King main. King is way too big brain. King is way too big brain for me. There's way too many inputs for his throws and wrestling shit. King is badass, don't get me wrong. I've always loved and appreciated King. Or I think I actually love Armor King more than I love normal King, though. Armor King being the like shit heel wrestler is the best. Getting poison mist spit. Getting to he does like low chops and shit. Does a lot of busted stuff. Armor King is awesome. Tekken was the first fighting game I ever played. Yes, it was. Tekken 3 was my first ever fighting game. It's why Tekken has like such a near and dear place to my heart. Back when I was like 9-10 years old, I think 8 or 9, I would go to Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments in my town's mall on Saturday mornings, Saturday afternoons, and it was ran by the people that ran the arcade in the mall. So in between rounds, whenever I wasn't playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I was in the arcade playing Tekken 3, playing House of the Dead 2, Street Fighter, all that fun shit. I loved going to that arcade. I miss the arcade days. I don't mind playing versus Lucky Chloe in terms of I was gonna say that was the second reason. That was the second reason why people hate Lucky Chloe is they just find her voice annoying. That's it. Those are the two reasons. Anyone outside of that, literally just hate her because other people hate her. Yeah, we have arcade bars now, but they're not the same. Like they're not the same as like just going to an arcade and spending like with a fistful of dollars and getting tokens and just playing games. Like you're having to pay like $15-30 just to enter. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe it's just like nostalgia glasses. But there's just something special about going into arcades at that time. Now you have to play Armor King to be my heel. All right, let's go.
No idea what the general reception to DOA is like anymore. At the height of its popularity, it was regarded as either haha booba or ew booba. And I've been sort of out of touch with DOA now that it's grown into an actually legit fighting game.
Yeah, I didn't really think too much of Hanukkah. Oh, yeah, DOA.
I feel like I have to address though, and it's the idea that Marie Rose and Hanukkah have no personality. I have to ask, what counts as having a personality?
Yeah, personality in a fighting game.
I can think of several other characters from fighting games
Turn it up a
whom I
smidge,
regard to have no personality, like A.B.I.torial. I've done the wiki dive and I've analyzed his in-game presentation.
Yeah, there are a ton of fighting game characters that just are like, all right, let's fight.
He's French, and
He's
he
French.
has a throw, I guess.
The true people of color, French.
About her personality. It's
This man's racist against the French.
More so than
To be fair, the French had it coming.
There's a purpose to it all, because her fighting style is Sistema, a martial art that utilizes joint locks and counterholds to turn an enemy.
And then this is the reason why people hated Marie Rose, and this is why I loved playing Marie Rose, is her fighting style is literally just counterplay. You press a button, you're getting fucking chucked. It's great. Marie Rose is the best. I loved her.
Momentum against them using the minimal amount of physical exertion. Marie Rose's posture makes her look vulnerable and inviting an enemy to attack.
Look at that! Look at that! There's nothing cuter! There's nothing cuter! Cutest fighting game character!
The minimal amount of
it's just so good! This shit is delicious!
Yeah!
And then they press a button, you just fucking counter hold them. Oh, so good.
It's a deliberate part of her design and gameplay. And if you look at any footage of Marie Rose and say that she has no personality, then you're lying. The same is largely true for Hanukkah, whose timid and amateurish fighting posture conceals a frankly genius level of creativity and improvisation using moves.
Yeah, Hanukkah had some sick combos.
The other common sentiment about Marie Rose and Hanukkah is that they've overshadowed the entire franchise. To be fair, even I can see that Marie Rose and Hanukkah have started to take over the brand. Koei Tecmo even made a
cute aggression is a real thing. Yeah, people just hate cute characters.
And the DOA representatives were Kasumi.
The last
Marie
DOA
Rose,
was kind of cool, and the game has some ways to move behind the moves. But I found it after the game died. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Is it's been so long. It was so long in between DOA games that the only people that stuck around and stayed for the most recent DOA, I think they were up to like DOA 6. Yeah, it was like they're literally killed by the publisher, and netcode's not great for any of these games, and there's just not a huge base behind it. Like most of the people that played like DOA hardcore back in the day just moved on to other fighting games because there wasn't really any support for them. There weren't really any tournaments going on. Weren't really any competitions. So, and then yeah, there was a lot of monetization issues apparently with the most recent DOA. I only played the newest DOA like very little. Yeah, it was really bad. It looked great. It looked pretty as fuck.
The new faces of DOA has
but it is just awful to try and play online.
DOA franchise. DOA was at its most popular between DOA 3 and 4, even getting ad spots on American television.
Yeah, I used to play DOA 3.
But it was also during this era when the game had become somewhat stagnant. There was nothing of significance that was really different between DOA 2, 3, and 4, aside from new characters and stages, and the series was sort of falling into a pattern. It wasn't until Itagaki's departure that Team Ninja saw the opportunity to try dramatically new things. a new combat system, new dynamic stages, and a brand new character who broke the norm of what DOA characters had been for years. Marie Rose and Honoka proved to be so popular in Japan that, logically, it made sense to lean into that success. So I can understand that it might be frustrating to
Oh no, not Senran Kagura! No! No!
That is it, really. Would you actually consider playing these gacha games if they had Kasumi and Ayane instead of Marie and Honoka?
I won't go back. I won't go back.
This long, winding road even take us? Why did I even bother bringing up these characters? Well, if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed I've been purposely omitting one particular piece of feedback from the comments. A sentiment that is shared between all three posts.
Oh?
She doesn't fit. She doesn't belong in this fighting game.
Yep.
And now I want to ask...
Curious.
Why?
Curious. We had this same... MP89. We had the same complaint about the Street Fighter character. She doesn't belong. She doesn't fit in Street Fighter 6.
Fighting games are a realm in which anything fits, no matter how absurd or unrealistic, because they serve the purpose of expressing character. Capoeira would not work in a fight, but it works in a fighting game. Sumo would not work in a fight, but it works in a fighting game. Drunken boxing would not work in a fight, but it works in a fighting game. What line is being crossed by Ingrid, Lucky Chloe, Marie Rose, or Honoka that hasn't already been crossed before? What part of suspension of disbelief refuses to accept these characters when that same suspension of disbelief allows for science mutants, genetic godmen, and Zack? If Sakura did not exist in 1996 and was created today in the year 2021, would Sakura not belong in Street Fighter? Never mind the lore, never mind the gameplay, never mind any other pretenses. What is it about...
Like, this honestly, in terms of lore, I could see them shoehorning Ingrid back in because Shadow Lu is destroyed and Bison is canonically dead now. And Shadow Lu is canonically defeated, disbanded. That's why Jury's doing her own thing. That's why Fang doesn't exist anymore. Now it's like female Fang. So I could see it happening, and every character so far is from a different nationality. So they could just have like Ingrid Boss character just coming back from space.
Idea
Bring Ingrid back. Bring Ingrid back, Capcom.
Tilted. I want to be clear that this is not
Don't be cowards.
Gender
Stop being cowards and bring
in video
Ingrid
games
back.
Or any lofty highbrow concepts like that. This is about grown men losing their shit about
Jury's
cute
my
girls
favorite
in
Street Fighter
frilly
character.
dresses in their fighting games. I'm not leading up to a conclusion, and I'm not asking rhetorically. I said at the start of the video that I wanted to make sense of the conversation around these characters. But
Street Fighter needs to make an Extreme Beach
And
volleyball
so I
game.
leave the
Listen, I will
question to you.
slurp the fuck
If
out
you
of
are
that.
the kind of person who cannot accept these
I will
characters to exist in
devour.
a
I will
fighting game,
devour a Street Fighter Extreme
Why?
Beach volleyball game. What a great video! What a great video!